Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. Have you ever just had like the most Mondayest type of a Thursday ever?
Rough day. What do you think? I don't know. It's hard for me to think ever since I developed this brain tumor.
Wow, so that was kind of my day. You know, Sometimes you just get into things where it just seems like you're just running through stuff all day long. And that happens, a lot of stuff happens sometimes. But you know what? At the end of the day, I realized it's still just work. It's still just things. It's still great energy put into it. It just kind of was tiring at the end of the day. And I had to help my father with a few things. But then I come home and I realize, you know what? It's good. I got family, got the brackets out there getting busted already. Wow, Kentucky, really? Now you got me worried about some things, but that's fine. Um, but then I realize I've got such amazing people, in my life. My family, my wife, my son, my dad, my extended family, my friends, you guys that are my friends and my family on here, and I'm like, you know what? It's a temporary thing, and I always remember that about things. Even when you're having a rough day, it's just a temporary thing. That's not your permanent state. It's just a temporary thing. So I usually recover pretty quick, even from rough days. So as soon as I get in the house and I see my dog and I kiss the wife and see my son and start talking to some friends and stuff, it's like it's gone. But you know what? I said, you know what even made it better is there was this awesome bottle right here. This is a Stagg. This is 23B. This is a gift of mine from a friend. Terrence, thank you very, very much. I was totally taken aback by this, and I'm so thankful for this. I've never had this batch, and as you guys all know, stags are hard to find. I've got a few stags, but a lot of it's because of people like Terrence that said, "Hey, look at this, look at this." Terrence and I've been together on a couple. We went on a hunt, and I got a stag with him. He got me a stag. He's given me part of a stag. I mean, Terrence has probably been the person that gets me the most stag, and I'm so very, very thankful. I'd hoped that we'd had an opportunity. He was coming in town. Well, not in town, but in the area for something. But it's a quick in, quick out, and we're not going to get a chance to do any hunting, but we will in the future. So definitely looking forward to that. But like I said, I'm so thankful because like I said, even tough times are temporary. Just wait through the temporary. And like I said, by the end of the day, it was gone. We got some good laughs out of things last night with the tournament and the family and stuff. So it was a good time. But man, I'm looking forward to this. This is Stag 23. They had A, B, and C. So this is the first time they did a third batch in a year. So interested to see what the middle batch is. This is the middle child out of that batch. It's coming in at 127.8 proof. So generally stags are in that high 120s, low 130s. So this is on kind of the lower end of the spectrum. I believe the batch C from 23 was actually the lowest one they put out. Um, so let's see what this thing's got rolling with. It's got this nice Weller glass, and I hate to say this, but I don't know whose glass this is. If you recognize this glass, put it on a milk carton or something and say, that's my glass. Actually, we were drinking at the Alabama Bourbon Drop in December, and someone let me borrow a glass, and all of a sudden now it's like, how did I get this glass? So if this is your glass and you were at that Bourbon Drop, and I suspect who I think I might know it is, whose it is, but let me know. I'd like to get your Glen after, of course, using it today. The one thing I always like about Stags is that you always get some kind of a cherry note, or at least I do. I'm getting some cherry on here. I'm getting a little bit of an orange on here, which is pretty neat. Some deep oak on here, some char on here. I'm not getting something that just overwhelms me with sugar. So I'm interested to see on the palate what kind of sugars I'm going to get off of this. getting a tiny bit of the ethanol, but this is only opened up for about 7, 8 minutes right now. And Stagg is better once it opens up. That neck pour, if you go right into it, it's going to be a little bit rough on you. Let it open up in your Glen for a while, swirling around a little bit, let it oxidize a little bit, get some oxygen in there. Aerate would probably be the appropriate term there, um, but then if you let it set for a while, they tend to open up and they're even better. I'm getting a little bit of, which is strange, a little bit of kind of a floral note on this as well. So let's see what we got on the palate. This one's a little bit different. Um, this, wow. So you're getting a nice bit of the cherry on the finish on it. You're getting a lot of oak on this, which I'm an oak person, so I like that. I'm getting a little bit of a chocolate on there, kind of a cocoa powder type of thing going on. But this one has a little different spice to it, which I'm kind of digging on this. Normally I'm thinking when I get into stags, I kind of get a cherry, a custardy type of thing, a sweet butterscotch type of thing. Or this one's a little more savory. I don't know if I just talked myself into it, but I get a little butterscotch on the nose now too. Um, but sometimes as you taste things and you come back and you re-nose them, you may pick up other things that your palate was picking up as well, even though I didn't call it out on my palate. And I am kind of getting that butterscotchy thing going on the front. Now this is not an overly sweet stag, um, but man, it's still got this neat little spiciness to it. Getting a little bit of that herbal on the back, getting some cherry on the back, getting some nice oak char on the back, little butterscotch up front. Got a very good mouthfeel, very viscous and oily. This is coming in about a burnt orange, so you get some kind of orange qualities in the coloring on this. And I know that what I'm going to have to do with this bottle, and 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 it's because I've learned this with experience over time with stags, is I'm going to have to do a revisit video to see what it's like now in a few weeks after it's opened up. Because for me, there seems to be sometimes a drastic difference between from the initial pour and then a few weeks later after you've got some air into these things. This is getting smoother as I drink it. It's drinking under proof, not super heavily under proof, but I'd say in that 112 to 115 range. So it's drinking about 10 to 12 proof points lower um, than maybe what the label says. So it is drinking under proof. The thing I'm really digging on this though, and like I said, I'm more of an oak person than a lot of people, because I like a little bit of that bitterness that comes with it. I like some of that dryness on the back. Now I'm getting a little bit of a leather type of thing going on as well, and the nose is getting better the more it's opening up to me too. Okay, so a lot going on here. I'm getting a little bit of butterscotch, I'm getting some cherry, getting a tiny bit of an orange on the back, getting a little bit of a white pepper on the back, getting the oak, getting a little bitterness from that, getting a little bit of a cocoa powder. So there's a whole lot going on in the back on this, which I'm really, really enjoying. But like I said, I really want to come back in a couple weeks too and do a revisit. So you may see a revisit video on this because I want to see how that differs in a few weeks as well. You're never going to have, at least in my experience, you're never going to have a bad pour with the Stagg. You're always going to have a very, very good to an exceptional pour on everything that I've had. Now, have I had them all? No. But I've never had one that I've said, oh, I'm never going to go back to that again. And I'm getting more of that butterscotch up on the front of it now. So I am a fan of this one. I don't know, like I said, I try not to read up on other people's stuff because I want to make my own opinion. But man, there's something different about this one where you're getting a little more herbal. You're almost getting almost some rye qualities with some of the pepperiness that comes with it as well. But then on the very back end, and this is a medium long finish on this, you not only get the oak and the leather, but you're still getting some more of that cherry on the back end. Big fan of this, Terrence. Thank you very, very much. Man, we're on Friday Eve. I am so excited for the weekend. You know, I've got the bourbon drop in Auburn. I do not have a number, but there's going to be a few people out there from the channel. Can't wait to meet them. I think it's going to be exciting for that. You know, see what I get as a walk up after everybody else has gone through. I got some killer bottles coming out this month, but really only if you're in that top tier echelon. I mean, there's a Mr. Sam going out there. They've got some Old Fitz that's going out there. They got some Heaven Hill 18 going on out there. And those bottles will be all gone, I'm sure, in the top 10. So I'm interested to see as a walk up, you know, minus whoever doesn't show up, what would I be able to get as a walk up in a quarterly? And I always think that that's fun because you can still get some very good bottles. I mean, I've gotten some antique 107s and things like that in the walk up portion of it. You know, they may have some other neat stuff out there that I will find really interesting. And I'm just interested to see what other people get too, because I'd love to see people get good bottles. I think that's the fun part of it is when you see other people get stuff that they realize I'm never probably going to have an opportunity to get that again. You know, I'll probably never see a Mr. Sam out there. You know, there's the Heaven Hill stuff. Unless I'm willing to pay secondary, unless I get it into a lottery, I'm never going to see it. But it's cool to see other people get it. And I'm hoping that they're cracking it. So they're enjoying it with friends and they're building their memories. Man, if you're working today, you know, I hope and pray that your workday goes by fast and that you're successful in everything that you do. You know, I love people that bring great energy to teams. I love people that think about things and try to improve upon things. You know, make things better. You know, don't ever be afraid to throw out an idea to say, hey, this might do something for us that makes us better. So put those ideas out there, you know, and I think about all the different things as a country that we do, and I'm so thankful for us. You know, I say all the time, I hope that when you're off time, you know, I hope that you guys find a way to turn down that clock and slow it down. But there's some people that are always on call. And, you know, one thing we talk about, you know, American military never stops. Our first responders never stop. You know, our truck drivers are always rolling down the roads for us and stuff. Our farmers are never stopping, you know, and I was so thankful yesterday. I talked about our teachers. But, you know, one of the things that, you know, goes, and I tell my son this, you know, he's 13 and I'm like, if you're not in that mindset where you want to go to college, and he's a smart kid, I'm like, pick up a trade. Because there are so many people afraid to use their hands to go out there and do something that, you know, you talk about everyone wants to go into IT, I do this, but our trades are invaluable. Who's going to build things? Who's going to fix things? Who's going to do things? Get into a trade. You know, I tell younger people today, if you're not sold on college, get into a trade because you can make more, if not more, in a trade than you can in a lot of the college educated jobs. And you're not having to worry about paying for that college up front. You know, you may have to pay for a trade school, which has a lot better value. But man, I hope your workday goes by fast. But most importantly, I hope you're off time goes by slow. I hope time just dials it down a little bit so you can enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, to recharge and do something for yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing that you can do. Most of the bourbon community is amazing giving people. But as a giver, you still need, and it's awkward as a giver, you still need to find time to do something for yourself. Because if you got to take care of yourself so you can take care of other people. So do that. Let that time slow down and do some of the things that you need to do to recharge. But most importantly, all, cheers and God bless. I hope you all have an amazing day.